Hi, hey, yo, hello. You look nice. New haircut. Oh gosh, this is off to a rough start. Nebraska, where the corn is sweeping through the plains. So I want to say a few things about Nebraska. I mean, not a lot of people have lived here, so I feel like not a lot of people know too much about it. And being that I live here, I consider myself a certified native. So let's jump right in. No pun intended. I mean, there was literally no pun intended there, so it's just Nebraska is part of a region known as the Great Plains. Why are they great? I have no idea. Maybe the size, or the people that named it were just masochists. In fact, Lewis of Lewis and Clark described the area as a desert barren country. Now, this might not be quite accurate, mostly judging by the noticeable lacking of cacti or sand, but the point still stands. Not only that, but the plains are just so boring. It's flat. Just flat. For miles. For entire states. Just flat. So one time when I was younger, I was in a BB gun club. We practiced every Thursday in the senior citizen center of my 1,000 person town. Looking back, a bunch of preschool to third grade age kids shooting guns indoors probably wasn't the best idea. In fact, the room we shot in was littered with holes due to everyone's inability to hit the target, and literally a decade later, I still would find BBs in the carpet after the program ended like years before. Anyway, one day we had a state qualification meeting. We all came in and half the group would shoot the BB guns to test their shooting ability, and the other half would take a written test about gun safety, and then we'd switch. The results came back, and I made it! Given my shooting score was laughably low, my written test was good enough to cover my back, and thus began the journey to Sydney. No, I'm not talking about Sydney, Australia, home to Australians. I'm talking Sydney, Nebraska. Sydney, Nebraska was known for two things: being the birthplace of the Cabelas and for being 6 hours away. This brings me back to the point about being in Nebraska. You can drive for 6 hours nonstop and still be in the same state. Not only that, but if you fall asleep in the back seat and wake up to look out the window, everything looks so similar, you have to ask how long you've been driving. You could have literally just blinked or gone cold for 2 hours, and you'd never be able to tell because there's nothing. Well, there's corn, I guess. So, after 6 hours of mind-numbing boredom and driving, my parents and I finally arrived in Sydney, Nebraska. Psh. This beautiful 8,000 people town was exactly how you'd imagine. Empty. Yay! So, back to the shooting contest. Back then, I needed glasses, like, bad. But I didn't know that I needed glasses. I just thought things far away were naturally blurry. So imagine trying to shoot a BB gun that's too long and too heavy for tiny 8-year-old arms. Now imagine having it just driven 6.5 hours for a 30-minute competition in scenic nowhere. And now imagine on top of this, you can't see. Needless to say, I didn't do too hot. So another thing about Nebraska is the weather. I mean, we have it. But having snow in May seems a bit strange to me. So many times Nebraska would be in the middle of January and the weather would reach temperatures of like 80 degrees, and I would just sit in the sun, peaceful, enjoying the warmth. But then I'd begin to wonder why it was so hot. My mind would instantly flash to those images of polar bears falling into water because their ice was gone, and I would get images of smog and pollution in the world eventually just burning up into a crisp. Then the next day it would snow again. For example, there was one day like last week where I was driving downtown in the city I live and a rainstorm just comes out of nowhere. So my friend and I walk into an underground record store and it's dry. We come up out of the store and there's 80-mile-an-hour winds and the rain is coming down in swimming pool quantities. 2 hours later, a lovely sunset and dry. Also, tornadoes. Hi. So, that was the video. My name is something. I wanted to thank you guys all for taking the time out of your days to learn a few things about this state that I call home. So if you want to see more stuff like this, you could subscribe to the channel. I mean, you don't have to. But if you wanted to, you'd know when new videos were out. You could if you want to comment about anything too, I'll read all the comments probably. And don't be bad people. Thanks.